Hi, it's Justin Coletti of Sonic Scoop, and welcome back for some more MixCon 2024. Today we have a masterclass with a young, up-and-coming mixer, producer, engineer by the name of Dennis Jones, also known as ROC.am. ROC has been doing a lot of mixes with some major artists. He's worked with the likes of Rihanna, Bad Bunny, DJ Snake, and a whole bunch more, doing not only stereo mixes, but also immersive mixes for a whole bunch of really big releases from major pop, R&B, and hip-hop artists. He's worked on stereo or immersive mixes for artists like Justin Bieber, Eminem, Jay-Z, Keisha Cole, Nelly Furtado, Drake, Mary J. Blige, Bryan Adams, and the list goes on from there. Today, he's going to be walking us through a mix, first taking us through his process in doing a stereo mix, and then blowing it out into a full Atmos surround mix. So we'll get a bunch of insights into both of those processes. Like all of our MixCon masterclasses, this one is free to the public thanks to our sponsors, and the sponsor on this one is a super natural fit. It is Kali Audio. Kali Audio makes some remarkably affordable speakers that are great for stereo mixing. And if you wanted to set up a truly affordable, professional sounding Atmos room at the minimum of expense, their Kali LP series and maybe even their IN series would be an amazing place to look. They also have high-end speakers like the new Santa Monica series. I've evaluated their speakers in the past, and they offer some of the most tremendous bang for the buck in the business. A lot of producers, engineers, and mixers swear by their IN series, which I absolutely love, in a three-way monitor for its price point, or really any price point. And also their LP series are probably some of the best performing affordable monitors out there. Check them out over at caliaudio.com. Big shout out and thanks to those guys. Also, if you want to get some monitors totally for free, we are doing a MixCon mega giveaway. We're giving away more than $5,000 worth of free gear, including free speakers, free plugins, free microphones, and a whole bunch more. So check out the MixCon mega giveaway. There are 3 chances to win, so good luck to you. We also have a live Q&A coming up with Dennis ROC.am Jones right after this masterclass concludes. If you're here for the live premiere, you can type any questions that pop into your head right into the chat box on your screen, and I'll save the best ones for that Q&A that's coming up right after this. One more quick shout out and thanks to the Los Angeles Recording School for hosting this masterclass. They've outfitted their Atmos room with Kali audio monitors, and no surprise why there. So check them out as well over at losangelesrecordingschool.com. All right, without any further ado, let's get right into it. Dennis Jones, ROC.am, take it away.
What's going on, y'all? It's ROC.am. I'm here at the LA Recording School. So thankful for them to allow us to come in here. And we're right now tapping into MixCon. Shout out to Kali Audio. Got a beautiful 714 system here. I got 2 of the students from the LA Recording School here with me. I think it's all about perspective and collaboration. So I'm glad to have them here with me. I have a project here from a wonderful artist. She was just endorsed by Apple a few months ago. Jazz artist by the name of Alexis Lombre, and this song is called Boundaries. I'm going to be breaking down pretty much the mix, what I did in stereo. I actually did this mostly just inside of the box, and what I did to convert it and transfer it over into Dolby Atmos. So, to start off, I'm going to play the original reference of this record. Let me know if y'all vibing with it, reference.
Demand you to respect me. Love should be true, shouldn't hurt me. I'll not be what you want me to. You might need me, but I don't depend on you. No means no. Please understand that my body ain't for your. You play me, you play yourself, and you can't play nobody else. No codependency, baby, I need some boundaries.
So yeah, that's like the reference. And you know, the one thing I've learned just like working with clients, especially when they're bringing you the full tracks that they've done. She composed, produced this entire thing. It's all about the vision. You know what I'm saying? So once I have a session, if there's a session that you have, I like to work in that session because there's like a vibe there that you just can't recreate. It's like impossible. She just sent me a bunch of stems. So she was definitely open to just like the creative control. And we kind of worked together back and forth to really get it to where it was sounding great. So I like to really just start with the music first. I will kind of just listen to what I have imported, started from the beginning. I'll listen to the vocals too a little bit, then I'll start muting stuff, start figuring out the flow.
I demand you to respect me. Love should be
You're already
true.
hearing the vocals like
Shouldn't hurt
pressing
me.
down there.
I'll not be what you want me to. You might need me, but
So right now we got the music, we listen. I like to listen loud sometimes, as if I'm actually listening to an actual setting, give it some character. Let's start off with the bass. Bass and drums is like where I like to start everything off with. This is like live instruments, so yeah, like all live instrumentation, which is sick. So let's like get a good loop, right? Let's put this in a loop so it just never ends. Now the low end was like something she really wanted to focus on. This is like jazz fusion meets like R&B and soul. So it's like I wanted to just add a lot of that body. So I usually kind of start with like just experimenting, throw a little labs on there. And then from here, we kind of just starting to listen to what it's doing. I'll turn this up and just search for like where it starts bumping. It's like bumping like right there, yeah, right? And then once it's bumping, we kind of like turn the amplitude down a little bit. We're gonna be adjusting this throughout the majority of the mix. So it's like tug of war and just getting into that sweet spot. We'll just start here for now, right? Got that going. And then, like to bring in some more of the drums. So you don't want to sit on one thing too long. And another thing with me, mixing, man, it's all about feel, like what I hear and feel. I'm not really one of those technical guys. Like, I really like to focus on what the true feel of it is and just like what environments people would engage and like to listen to this in. So let's start seeing. We got the kick here. Or this is like a sample. Screens with the stuff. We'll hold the hi-hats for now. That's like a totally different thing. Let's just focus on the low end. What else we got? We got overheads. Put the snare in there. Snare there. Kind of calm. I do a lot of muting and soloing. It's just like, what's going on, what's happening. So I got all of that. I think I'm gonna go back to just like the kick and the bass. DBX is really good for drums, specifically if you want to focus on that punch and the low end. I love starting with presets, especially if it's a plugin that I'm not really used to using. This session I used a lot of different plugins. This is one of them. So I started with like bass enhancer, and then I just kind of listened and kind of carved it out the way that I thought it would fit. And obviously you got to throw a Poltec on there to really like get that low end and bring in some more at the top. Let's give it that girth. Then going back to the bass, I'm like, yo, which one do you want to choose? You want to make bass the star below end, or you want to make the kick the star, or you want to make them work together? I love to make them work together. So like after I pretty much get them to where I think low end wise they sound good, I'll start carving and EQing. So you got a little decapitator on there, little drive. Started with the beefy setting, and then I just adjusted. Made the tone. The tone was was much darker than this. I wanted it to be bright to complement everything else that was going on. So, little chorus to open it up, make it a little bit wider. Now, I'm gonna go to the kick real quick. You can hear it. It's kind of like some extra stuff going on the tail of that kick. Put a little gate and then stop all of that, you know? Sometimes it's good when it's natural, but yeah, I wanted to take it out. I got a little bit aggressive on this, actually. Now we go back into the bass. Got a nice little vibe. So now, pretty much got everything. Also on my kick, I do have a side chain thing going on here. Bust out a 35-36 going into, it's kind of like a parallel kind of situation. I like to try different things. Like this kid has like a little tape. Sorry, transient designer. Bring out those transients in that kick. She wanted it to be real punchy. Like she wanted the drums on some hip hop stuff. So, you know, it has that feel. Yeah. And then there's a tape on here. I'm gonna try a different tape, just see if we can get any more saturation out of it. Let's go with, let me see. We got on here real tape saturation. And remember, we're not pushing hard into this. This is bust into that kick. So it's like, kind of feel where that sweet spot is at. I also like to really drive stuff, understand what's happening. So I got the side chain going. It's around negative 17 going in, so it's not too crazy. But just to see yo, what would this real tape sound like paired with the transient designer pushing it. Kind of spreads it out a little bit more. Kind of makes it a little bit not so direct, but yeah. But I'll keep this like this for now. We'll probably adjust it going through, but let's start bringing in some more stuff. But actually, let's see what else we got here. Got some EQ action. So we back. All right, so the low end, Fab Filter is great. What's cool about it is either you're super technical or you really into just feel, or you're a visual guy. Fab Filter really knocks out all of those things. I use Fab Filter a lot for visual stuff. It's just easier to take shit away, you know what I'm saying? So this was just very yo, it was a frequency here that was really weird. So I took a little dip there. Then I boosted a little bit more on the top end just to get a little bit more of that character, that kick, the bass. And then I often use Fab Filter maybe 2 or 3 times on one track. Because I feel for some reason, if I try to do too much on one single plugin channel, it'll just not get the feel that I want. I feel it's when you're adding limiters and you use more than one limiter, it's better to use more than one instead of one. It's just flexibility for me. So, gosh, got a little low cut here to get all of that extra stuff out. That same kind of dip is happening. It's just a little bit bigger here. And then I dipped here as well. So now going back with the kick, where are you? I'll add it. We did. So I boosted in that same area where the kick was down at. I mean, where the bass was pretty much cut at. And you can do it multiple ways. Some people like to do side chains. I like to carve it out, or you could do a multi-band and kind of just, and that's actually a multi-band activated on the bass. So anytime that frequency is hitting, the kick comes in and kind of like really goes through the middle of that. Because the kick is like, that was like something she really wanted to have emphasis on. So once we get that going, right, I feel like, yo, we're in a good place. We're solid. Let's bring in some other stuff. What's normally after your kick? Snare. So it's a lot of snare with, got some fill in here, hi-hat fills. So that's one snare. There's about 3 different snares. Snares I didn't really go crazy with. I didn't feel there was anything that needed to be changed. Specifically with this snare, I'll actually solo it so you can hear. Because also, you're up here. Let's do a nice little loop. Got these hi-hats. So the overhead, got that overhead sound, and these are the hi-hats that were really directly recorded. I did do some EQing. They seemed harsh, kind of just overpowering everything. But I didn't really want to like take that away because I'm sure that was a lot of the intention. So I brought in like SSL EQ. Kind of ducked a little bit in the high mid frequencies and the high frequencies here. Then I added some soothe. I tell you, soothe is like, I honestly like to like just I just throw it on stuff, honestly, just to see what it does. And like the default setting alone is like crazy. It like fixes things right away, or at least it tells you where your target is gonna be at. And a lot of times I'll just work off of that default, and I would just like, you know, either go up on the mix or turn it down. And if I think there's a frequency or something that we should focus on, I'll just move it until I feel like we're at a good spot. But this I did start with the preset as well. Then I think I adjusted this a little bit. I like the way around like 4K. Kind of bring that. Probably turning these down a little. You can even hear that it's live, like everything is straight through. So again, you don't want to kill any of that live and make it too robotic.
Yeah, it's a great recording.
Yeah, it's like a sick recording. It didn't have to really too much. Now we're getting back into it, bringing everything in. Let's listen to the overheads actually. So the overheads definitely have some processing to it. EQ in here took out all of the frequencies that I did not like. I'm sure people know how to do that. You kind of just bring this out, solo it. You can hear what you don't want, or you hold it right here. Spectrum kind of like analyzes. It's like, hey, yo, these sound weird, this sounds weird. And you double check yourself, you know, and if it feels right, just take it away. Multi-band on this. Definitely take away some of that harshness in the top. Because it was clashing with the other hi-hats. And I would see Sue, your best friends. Yeah, I'm gonna start breathing these drums. Close. Sounds like live. I feel like we could probably mess with that bass a little bit more. But let's bring in all the drums. So on my drum bus, kind of took everything all together and said, hey, this is what I don't like. We got some notches here. I'm just taking away all a bunch of stuff. Something about when you working in drums, and I saw this trick, like I learned everything off YouTube, man. Like I wasn't fortunate enough to go to a school, which schools are great, man. I mean, that sets the foundation, but like I had YouTube and I had like Young Guru. He taught me compression with SSL. Had all the people that I just watch, and it was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he was just like, he made things sound so simple. He's like, man, when you put a high pass and a low pass on like your drum bus, for some reason, it just sounds good. It just sounds good. So I tried it and I was like, yo, he's actually kind of right. It does sound good. So I add that to like protocol when I'm collectively kind of just taking away unwanted frequencies. And it kind of makes sense. You know, you do a little bit here and at the top just to get that little bit out, and it kind of like pushes it up a little bit more because all those unwanted frequencies aren't there. Then go to a nice SSL. SSL is known for like just that punch. So it's adding that like mixed bus punch. There's some boost in the low mid frequencies here. Kind of pulled back a little bit because I felt like in the highs, it's a little bit too much. Wanted to make it a little bit darker. Especially because the music is, the music is a little bit bright, so collective. Like a little drum leg, give it some space. The best free plugin ever, Soft Tube Saturation Knob. I love simple plugins, dog. And I mean, I put this on vocals. I put it on anything, to be honest, just to even try it out. With this specifically, like I wanted to give it more saturation without like doing too much. So putting it on that, like the low, and then I literally just went up like one notch. You know what I'm saying? Like tedious things, man. They really make it. Then this is like my all-time favorite compressor for drums. The 3A is cool. I like the UAD version and the Waves version. What's really cool about it is the mix knob, right? They added this mix knob feature. And when you compress this, and I don't really use it more for compression, I use it more for just like the tone, and it really kind of adds that bump when you boost the gain. And then you can actually change the frequency of it. So if we want more of that low end to stand out, we could. Right now it's flat, like I'm not really doing anything to it. But just to show you, now the mix is real low, so you can't really hear, but like deep boost. You hear how that low end start kind of. But I kept it flat. I felt like the drums, I did a lot of processing. It didn't need it. And There's some other stuff on here that we are not able to get on, but got an NLS bus here. Just felt like we needed to give it more analog feel, so just threw that on. And then ended it with the SSL code. Glue it all together. Now there also is another side chain happening where I parallel compress API 2500 and more saturation. So that's crazy. I already added the saturation, right? I'm thinking like, yo, we need to add that to the kick and snare. But you know what? We probably didn't. That's something that's added. For now, it sounds good. I'm not gonna fuck with it. I don't go crazy with the music either. It's more like EQing, taking away stuff that I don't like, soothing things out, and maybe like spreading things, making them a little bit more open. Because I feel music should just be open. It should be big. It's like the body of everything. Your drums is the bottom, the music is the body, and just the top is your vocals. That's just my theory. Bringing in this right here. This is more at the end. So it's like the same thing. It's like another Rhodes. More dipping. Took out a lot of the low end from there because it was clashing. Then soothe, soften up a little bit. Sounds clean. Yeah. So this. Now, old grand, this piano. This is like the main instrument. So here, this is EQing. And yeah, this was like it. Pianos are weird, man. They have like this like real organic kind of like resonance that you want to keep, but sometimes you get really harsh. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of fighting a lot with this, and as you can see, there's a lot going on. But the key is like when you take away things that you don't like, you put them back. You know what I'm saying? You just got to figure out what works to put them back. So got that going. Vitalizer is a great plugin. Like when it comes to reinstating something and giving it more clarity and also to spread it. I love the stereo expander on this because it just opens it up a little bit more. It's EQ compressor, saturation, and it's an expander. It's like an exciter, pretty much, yeah. Plugin Alliance has it. UAD also has one. So yeah, compressed a little bit. Got like a mid-frequency thing that happens here. Processing is like whatever this plugin does. I think collectively, once you have everything together, it kind of input. It's like an output kind of thing, input. And then I just boost the stereo expander because I wanted to get more of that grand. And then this plugin here, Waves MV2, very important with live instrumentation. I added it in. You can hear what it's doing. It's bringing in more of the detail, you know? And if you want to go more on the low end, controlling that high level, and then you have your output. So very simple plugin, but it really gets the job done when it comes to like classical stuff. So I've used that on like a lot of these. And then let's go back into the collective. And we got this thing here. This is like a weird kind of like synthy kind. I actually need to ask her what this is. It's called Sparkly, but
Like an in reverse pipe.
yeah. Or she probably went through like some sort of a mod or something like that. But it's cool as hell. This, I just took out what I didn't like, and then I put a little stereo image on there, spread it out a little bit, because it's like in the back and it's not dominant in the song. But I felt like it should have some type of extension, like it should be wide. It should be huge. And then let's listen to a little bit. Normally, like while I'm mixing, it's like I like to balance. Even though this was mixed already, I would like go back and forth between drums, music, go to the vocal, and just kind of like groove, you know what I'm saying? So now we got this mini pluck. Mellotron, sorry.
You're just searching for like resonance on these pieces.
Yeah.
Ducking.
Yeah, searching for resonance, ducking, not doing too much. And if I need to do anything, like you see, I'll add exciters, other compression, soothe. But I think when you bring it all together and put it through that one bus is where really the magic happens when you glue it. And that's just specifically with this song. Like, I do a lot of hip hop stuff, pop, R&B. That is a lot more processing. This I didn't process as much because of the live instrumentation. So, same with this. Let's get up. So we got the music flowing here. Let's actually start here. Now we're gonna get to the vocal.
Aim for your hands, and if you play me, you played yourself, and you can't play nobody else.
So
Don't go to
this obviously needs compression. There's a lot happening with this vocal drive, but it's clean. It's clean. It's just like, yo, you don't have to do too much. You know what I'm saying? You never want to overthink it. So I like to listen to the vocal and kind of like hear, like, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to take out? What am I going to start with? So if you look here, again, find all of those frequencies that I don't like. Start ducking, taking those stuff out. And then a lot of times too, I like to just listen to it with the actual music. Not with the drums, but with the music.
But that don't mean I don't see your lies, no.
I'll go back into that and let me get a nice loop going actually here.
That my body ain't for your hands, and if you play me,
Where are we? There we go. Main vocal. She has a main vocal here.
Nobody else.
Bunch of background vocals. These special oohs that's going on. So I'm going to. Normally I isolate everything. So like the oohs are all going to one bus. Everything has its own bus because it's all about separation. Everything needs to have its own pocket. So I work on them all individually.
That my body ain't for your hands. You might need me, but I don't depend on you. No means no.
It's a little harsh, right?
Please
Now,
understand.
normally you would like turn it down, compress, but I'm like, I like to EQ before I compress. Then I'll compress and then probably EQ again.
That my body ain't for your hands. And if you play me,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you play yourself.
They're automated. It's all automated,
And
yeah.
you can't play nobody else.
So we got that.
No,
I also put an exciter on here, but not so much for excitement. I felt like the vocal was, the top end of it just didn't have that warmth that I wanted. So Isotope has the exciter where you can kind of just pick where the frequency is that you want to cover. And it was like, it's usually between 1K and up here, right? and I would just put this warm setting on and just boost.
Dependency, baby, I need some boundaries.
And what it does, it kind of just rounds it off a little bit, brings in a little bit more of that saturation.
Is allowed to be around
Now,
me, no.
all-time favorite compressor, LA2A. I'm like an LA2A fan. Again, it's easy to use. There's the gain and the peak reduction, and this thing just got so much character. It's so musical. So I'm gonna add this on there.
Dependency, baby, I need some boundaries. No negative energy is allowed to be around me.
So you can see if you A/B, it's like everything is kind of like all over, and then once you start compressing, it kind of just puts it right in pocket.
It sounds really natural.
Yeah, it's keeping it right in pocket.
Nobody else.
And that's what's cool about this compressor is like it does the job for you. Like if you know what you want out of it, all you have to do is gain stage and peak reduction, and that's it.
No codependency, baby, I need some boundaries.
Taming everything.
No
Then right here,
energy
this was another
is
compressor I used.
allowed to be
Ozone, more dynamics.
around me, no.
Really trying to remember why I did this. But I'm assuming it was just I wanted to kind of like compress
What
and
you say you
get certain
will,
parts,
I see you do,
kind of like the low mids
and you wonder
and over here in the top.
I don't trust you.
Then I came in with another compressor, the tame, like very, very top end. A lot of times when like artists record, they're not really conscious too much on how they're recording, really, like gear wise, which is also, that could be a curve for them and take away from creativity. So a lot of times you get recordings with all types of just noise or just like, it just sounds like very thin, you know what I'm saying? So this here kind of like controlled the harshness up in the top end. That along with warming it up and the compression, the character and the soothe, just makes the vocal feel very good. Like in place, you can turn it up loud. It's not piercing. And that's really the test. Like I like to play everything extremely loud. And if I can't listen to it loud, that means something's wrong. Yeah. I'm getting fatigued.
No negative energy is allowed to be around me. No
Put pull tech on there.
baby, I need
Boost a little bit in that low end. Ended it off with a little more compression. So you can see, I got, every time I compress, I EQ, compress, EQ. It just doesn't stop. So if you go here, I took out everything, right? Then I did Soothe, Exciter, LA2A, Dynamic Compression, MB, back with more EQing, our compressor. So I'm going to bring it all in. And there's also some, yeah. So this is sick. I mean, just adding this on, it just gives, like, it pushes the vocal out. Like if you wanted to add the extra 5%, a little parallel compression, I like the air in it because it kind of just brings it out and it makes it stand, just kind of float on top of the music. I'm gonna bring everything in really quick.
What you want me to? You might need me, but I don't depend on you. No means no. Please understand that my body ain't for your hands.
Let's do a quick focus on the background and ad libs really quick. See what we got going on there.
Tendency, baby, I need some boundaries. Tendency.
So once I get them stacked like this, I'm like, all right. Collectively, they all sounded great. I mean, it felt as if like I was in front of a choir listening to this. So what I did was, there's automation on it, and but I routed it to a bus, and I did all my processing in the bus. As you can see with the vocals, the focus is the top end. Like the top end had to be tamed so much in this. Like I said, after I EQ, I compress, EQ, compress until I get a good balance. So, and you know, I kind of followed the same steps for the other ad-libs. Like these are the backgrounds. These are the oohs here. Well, actually the oohs are here. So now you feel they're all leveled out. Did my EQing. Wanted to expand it a little bit. Give it some texture. You can actually just play this straight through. So now what I'm gonna do collectively is just give it a quick run and then balance it out from there. Obviously there's so much more detail that you can go in, but you don't want to overmix something, right? Like if this feels good, get it to where it is. I like to play it loud. We're gonna add in some of the reverb stuff that I did. I love to just kind of like mess around with reverbs and just try different things. I normally go for Valhalla, but we'll use deverb. Kind of just put a hole on the end, just bring it down. Bring down the decay. Now, this is before we hit the mix bus. So right now we got everything active. All right. Let's get that main vocal back in there too. Main vocals.
To respect me, love should be true. Shouldn't hurt me.
I feel like that vocal is a little too loud.
What you want me to? You might need me, but I don't depend on you.
She did like her vocals really loud. We thought about that a lot. But I can understand why, because she wanted her vocal to be just what everyone pays attention to. Music in the background.
And if you play me, you play yourself. And you can't play nobody else. No codependency, baby. I need some boundaries. No negative energy is allowed to be around me.
She also wasn't big on effects. Like she didn't really like delays and reverbs. I love them. So when there's something like that between the artist and engineer, it's kind of like you meet halfway. And I kind of showed her some cool stuff, not overpowering and taking away from her vocal or from the music, just to add space and give it like, you know what I'm saying? And she loved it. You know, I didn't push too hard with it. Now, before we end it off, we'll go into the mix bus, and I'm just going to gradually just start bringing back things in, and you'll hear what I did.
No, please understand that my body
NLS bus, just for that digital analog circuitry.
You play yourself, and you can't play nobody else.
Now, this was more listening. I actually listened and soloed a lot of this, and I just felt like, all right, we need to duck here, duck here, duck here. My all-time favorite, I love ending everything off with like a back EQ, really give that focus on the low end and on the top end. Just bring it together. If you want to boost or either take things out, it's just the character of what this does. The back style character has just always been like a mastering chain for like mastering engineers. So I kind of followed that from my mix bus. Ozone is its own suite. I cannot live without this. I mean, you got everything from your dynamic EQing, which I do for the master, EQing, another exciter. Kind of still follow the same rules I've been following throughout the entire mix, and I kind of just use this as like a glue. And what's really cool now with the new Ozone is you can put a focus. You can put a focus on like the vocals, bass, or the drums without reconstructing your mix to just bring things out. And like I felt the vocals were loud, and proof was in the pudding when we heard it in the beginning. And you can see I ducked a little bit on the vocals. Everything has its own pocket. Everything has its own space. Nothing's overdone. It was very simple. And I think that was a key takeaway from this mix. This was very few mixes I get that are like this. And I really appreciate working with artists like this because it just gives me a different perspective to just not overthink. A lot of times I'll start Atmos within this, depending on how I configure the template. But I bounced all of these stems out because I sent this over to a mastering engineer. Shout out my guy, GP, over in Portugal. He's an amazing mastering engineer, Apple certified. I sent him all of my stuff when I don't want to master, which I normally don't like to. What we're going to do is I'm going to pull up the Atmos session and go through how that works. And we'll get to, have a little fun in the immersive space. Now, in Atmos, you got to really pay attention to the binaural settings, because this is what it's going to be a representation of when people listen in headphones. You got near, mid, and far. These are all different settings. Near is just like the most closest to stereo. Mid kind of give it a little bit of space, a little bit of distance. Far gives it a really good amount. So I kind of like to correlate that with what I do in the actual mix. For this, I'm not going to make that an actual object. I'm going to keep that in the stereo, but I'm going to spread it. So I like to put a little LFO in there for Atmos purposes. Nothing crazy. And then I'll do a spread. So I would say the rears. This is like the pulse. So it's like, I want to make sure this is in the lamp, the front and the back. So now I got that send going a little bit to those rear speakers back there, but it's dominant in the stereo. And the thing about Atmos is you have to contain your stereo image. As long as you have that, your space is free to be immersive and do anything. So now, those hats, to bring them out a little bit to the wides. Give them like a wide cob effect. As you get here, it kind of pushes out more. That's the most I would do with like drums. And then kind of just bring them into a bus. Flat drum. Do a little compression on it. 3A's, my guy. I even kind of pull back a little bit on compression. I'm gonna just bring the frequency a little bit, boost in the back end, and then lower it a little bit. Bring the mix down. Now, we go to some of the music. We got Rose Beer. So now with this, I feel like I want to spread this out also in the wides, right? But what we're also going to do is, and I'm going to solo this, we're going to do a send and we're going to have it in the wides. We're going to put a little bit in the sides and a little bit in the rear and a little bit in the top sides. And I'll show you how it works. So wide, dominant in the wides. And then we're going to put a little bit side, maybe like a minus 18. But minus 8 on the side for extra. Oh, watch. There. Minus 8. So we got to go into the sides a little bit now, right? And it's all about balance. It's like we want to get everything going in all the speakers, but collectively just immersive. Got a good immersive balance going. So I got my sides covered. I got my wides, then my rear wides. Gonna do the same thing. -8. And then I want to add some to the top, but just a little bit. Top sides. We're gonna go like -18 on it. Then we grab another musical instrument. So this is like a little bit more on the ambient side. So what I like to do with this, I like this to go towards the rear. So remember when I was talking about near, mid, and far settings, I feel like this should be like mid, has a little bit of push, a little bit of ambience. I want to bring that to the rear. Just have that sit right there. Then collectively, bring it back in. Then back in our drums. Before we got a vibe going. Mellotron yet. So I'll solo that so you can hear what that sounds like. This I'm put right in the side because I feel like something about this being in the side, like the attack that's on that first initial stab, it just does something, triggers your ear. So you got that going in the sides. We'll make this yellow too. And we're gonna spread this out. So now it's dominant in my sides. I'm gonna push a little bit in the wides and a little bit in the rear and a little at the top. Again, filling the entire room, giving it that balance it needs. Can do like a -8 on that end. Top sides. Just a little bit at the top, and you can do whatever parameters you believe in. I just like these numbers because it's just something I've been consistent with throughout this immersive journey. Let's hear it. So right now we vibing. bringing that grand. Grand piano is another dominant instrument. Also gonna put this in my watch. I'm actually gonna copy exactly what I did with this grand piano, what I did with the Rhodes. Just to make it simple. Hear that? I feel like it's just cascading right here. So, got some other stuff here before we get to the vocals, which would be the last thing. We got these reverse keys, and we also have shakers, snaps. So we got reverse keys and this thing, this cool sparkly. See what's happening with this stuff here. I'm gonna put this like right in the middle here. Turn it down a little bit. Got Sparky. Sparky is the fun one. Sparky, we gotta do something fun with this. Another mid attribute on the binaural settings. Sparky feels like it belongs at the top. Like, yeah, you feel that? Let's hear it collectively. So now we got that. Let's collectively just get the rest of the vocals together. And background vocals, I like my vocals all red. So all my background vocals, I like a dark red. And then the lead vocal, which is here, the bright red. And we'll just bring that up a little bit to here. And then we have pretty much, this is all other parts of the vocals. These are all backgrounds. And I'll show you guys a quick trick on what you can do when you have stuff like that, just in groups and it's already processed. You put them in folders and you kind of just work with them together, and then you kind of pick and choose which ones you want to stand out. This one's also just a lot of background vocals on that, a lot of stacks. Let's bring these here. All right, cool. So let's bring this up. So this is, so now let's listen to the vocals.
Negative energy is allowed to be around me.
So what I normally like to do is I like to group all the vocals together, like each and every last one of them. Let's move this actually up so we can group these guys. And we'll put them in a folder. Or here. Let's move to new folder. Routing folder. Route tracks to that. Call it vocals. Create. Now again, what this does is kind of just workflow. Makes processing just quicker. Because when you bus stuff, you can do that. But when you make them objects, it brings them out of that bus. So I just like to copy all the plugins to whatever object it is I'm using. Now we got all the vocals going. So globally, I like to add some compression, go to my 2A again, just to give it a little bit more character in the immersive space, but also to actually compress it. Because when you bring it into the immersive space, it tends to like stand out a lot more. And then I like to globally bring in, really the lead vocal is what it's going to do it to, but I like to push a little bit of wideness into that vocal, and then you lose a little bit of the center as well. The center is kind of like an anchor for me. So when I'm thinking vocal, the vocal is kind of making like this U, like right here. So you got your vocals here, music here, drums in the stereo, and then all your immersive stuff just in the rear. So now, the fun stuff, we're almost there, is when you get to take those background vocals and bring them out. What I mean bring them out is like I'll listen to them and I'll see like
Play me.
yeah, stuff like that. I usually like to get like falsetto-y kind of vocals.
You played yourself.
So let me see if we got any.
Played yourself.
Oh, that's kind of up there in pitch. Let me see if we got anything else.
Play me.
A little bit on the lower side. So yeah, we'll use this.
Played yourself.
And we'll give it like a mid binaural setting just to give it some distance binaurally. I like to move this somewhere back here. So now when that hook starts to come in and those backgrounds start coming in,
Pendency, baby.
you'll get like a 3D kind of like
Play me.
feel. But what happens is it becomes a little bit harsh. So I'll go right to soothe.
Played yourself.
Then I gotta take that compressor and drag it down just to keep that cohesiveness on compression. And I'm gonna do that with multiple parts of the vocals.
Pendency,
So you'll hear what it sounds like.
baby. Pendency, baby. Boundary.
Mute the drums too. So
Energy is a round me. Is a loud.
you do the same thing with the oohs, right? Like I said, I like to take the brightest one. This one would be cool. And we give it a setting. Mid and near is usually what I go for. Far as if I'm really like not too worried about something not being so present, but in fact just giving it a little bit of air. But I'll do that for something like it's very airy. Let's make this near. I feel like it's not as present, so maybe we'll pull another one and do something similar, give it a different setting, because it's all about texture, right? So we want to make sure we add as much just to give it like a really good feel. Put a little bit of that soothe, put a little soothe just on the master vocal chain. Bring it down. That's really it, man. I mean, Atmos is such an interesting space. It really changed my perspective on like how I mix in stereo. I wasn't like a really big stereo mixer, but I got into this and kind of went back into my stereo stuff and started to take a lot of the things that I've been listening to and hearing and bringing it into the stereo space. And at times, like if I feel the Atmos mix is that good, I'll trim it down to like a stereo render, and I would A/B like my actual stereo mix versus the Atmos mix. And a lot of the times, man, Atmos would sound a lot better just because it's providing all of that space and it's all of that DSP that's in there. And I think just creatively, we should still dive like really deep into this stuff and see what we can come out with. And, you know, I hope this definitely inspired you guys and you go home and pop open that renderer and just start to mess around with what you got. Because there's no real standard, you know what I'm saying? It's really all taste, preference, and perspective. No one can teach you how to do this stuff, man. So, end of the day, we make music, make people happy, and that's just the goal, man. It's the universal language. I'm ROC.am. I'm here with Cali Audio. Shout out to the LA Recording School. And this was my MixCon session.
I'm Rob Delgadillo. I work at the Los Angeles Recording School. I'm the program director here for audio production and music production programs. We are in our Avid S6 studio. We just outfitted this room with Cali Audio speakers with the 7.1.4 system. I chose Cali Audio because I recently met John and Chris from Cali Audio, and they sent me a pair of speakers, and I paired them up with what was here before, and there was just no comparison. It's important for students to have access to high quality gear because we want them to be able to compete once they get out of school and get into the industry and have access, you know, to good high quality mixes while they're here and just good gear that's going to train them and equip them. One thing that sets us apart from other recording programs is the real-world experience that they receive here. You know, they have faculty that are industry professionals that are actively working in the industry that can give them one-on-one guidance and tips really to get to that next level. Another thing is they have access to the recording studios. So not only will they have a class or two here in their course, but they'll also be able to access and book the studios and use them for their own projects. This room's outfitted with Cali Audio studio monitors, a 7.1.4 system. So we have IN8s for the 7 bed channels. We have IN5s for the 4 overheads. And even though this is a larger room, we're only using 2 WS 6.2s to handle the low end. So the Atmos as a format is more of an experience, I would say. You know, you listen in stereo, you enjoy music, you get a melody, you can vibe with it. Atmos, you're like immersed within the speaker system. There's more availability to be creative. You can have more fun. You know, it's kind of funny because you know, you sit down for years and I've been mixing in stereo, and then, you know, there's a lot of creativity that you could do within, you know, left, center, and right. But as soon as you get into the world of Atmos, it's everything. It's immersive, and then you even have above you. So it's completely 360. If you want to learn more about our programs, go visit lafilm.edu. And if you want to learn more about Cali Audio speakers, then go to caliaudio.com.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that MixCon Masterclass as much as I did. Big shout out and thanks again to Dennis Jones, aka ROC.am, for walking us through his mixing process. Big thanks to Cali Audio for helping make this one free to the public. And a big thanks to the Los Angeles Recording School for hosting this masterclass. They outfitted their space, including their Atmos room, with Cali Audio monitors. And it's no doubt why, because they make extremely high performance, high quality monitors at extremely affordable price points, all the way up into the higher end with their Santa Monica series. So shout out and thanks to those guys. If you want to win some free speakers for yourself, we are giving away more than $5,000 worth of free gear over at the MixCon Mega Giveaway. We'll put the link to that in the description and the comments down below. There's 3 chances to win, so good luck to you. We are doing a live Q&A with ROC.am as soon as this main masterclass concludes, so I hope to see you there. We'll be getting started with that right about now.